Good day, I'm Phil Creighton of the Shadow Chasers, and I'd like to introduce you to some of our new technology that we've gotten here at the Shadow Chasers. This is the NEX VG20. It is a new camcorder by Sony, one of the few interchangeable lens models, which means we can take and replace the lens anytime we feel like it with whatever lens we deem appropriate. Now this is the Cell 1855 for more close range, more documentarian purposes. It has a full ASP-C full frame sensor, which allows us to bypass that noise and noir that we usually get with the smaller sensors, even when they're 3 ccD. Now, some of the benefits of this camera. Now, I'm not going to go into a full review on this, but for our purposes, for the paranormal, this makes for the ultimate documentarian's camera. We can swap out lenses anytime we feel like it, switch to whatever filters we need, has extended life battery, a full 3-inch LCD touchscreen, and one of the best parts about this camera easily is the quad spatial array microphone array. We have 4 independent microphones with a base, so we can switch into Dolby 5.1 where we have directional sound and also playback, which means if we're in the field and we're doing a walkthrough of a location or just recording, we can actually identify if there's any anomalous sounds from a direction. If there's something in this direction, we'll get playback and you'll actually see it on the screen from this direction. If there's something from that way, you'll see it in that direction. What we have, here. You can see on the array how each one, you can see the peaks on each different channel. So for audio purposes, this camera is amazing. We're not just left with simple recording devices on this camera either. This is where Sony takes and steps it up to the prosumer level from the normal Handycam, which is kind of the way this looks. We have the Handycam body almost, but we have this independent array, the handle here for Pro, and then of course the interchangeable lenses, which make this thing amazing. We have all the Pro features, which allow us to play back and record in 60p, 60i, 30p, and 24p. And of course full manual controls where we control the aperture, the iris, and shutter speed for all of this. And this is where we get a step up from the Mitsuba that we were talking about earlier. It's a really nice camera for our purposes because it's a nice mix between the camcorder, where we can record in 720p, and the 16 megapixel camera. Now, that one was interpolated, and the Mitsuba, not so good for that. But this is Sony taking it to the next level. We get the full prosumer level equipment here, recording capabilities, audio, video, everything. And then, of course, we can make the modifications, add the AIS shoe equipment or cold shoe equipment, which means we can use a whole variety of different technology. And of course, the next favorite thing about this is we can also shoot photos. 16 megapixel, 16.2 megapixel photos. So we can do full-on burst mode. We just switch it over, and we can do up to 7 frames a second. So again, full manual controls for taking photos, RAW, even switching between JPEG and RAW save files. So this camera is an excellent documentarian piece because when compared to our previous model, our Panasonic AG DVC30, this thing is light years ahead of its time. And if we take a look at our previous model, the DVC30, compared to the new Sony NEX VG20, we see the difference in size, and of course the ability to create the bokeh with the interchangeable lenses versus just the normal E-ring for control of aperture and of course zoom on this. Now the lenses mean that this E-Mount lens here and the E-Mount and alpha lenses that this camera can take give us plenty of options for glass, but there is no motorized zoom or focus. The focus, of course, is integrated into the sensor, and the lenses carry optical image stabilization within the lens. So they can get a little bit pricey sometimes, but for what this camera is capable of doing, and just the difference in quality, this is the next and the most amazing version for documentarians. And for the paranormal purposes, be mindful, this does not have night shot. Now it is possible to take a night vision monocle that's adaptable to 35 mil DSLRs or SLRs and attach it here because it does have the lens adapter capabilities. You just have to find the right lens and you'll be good. I'm Phil Creighton of the Shadow Chasers, taking a look at the Sony NEX VG20.